We will stand for the pledge.
Let's do this.
Pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I know John's going to add something to the agenda, so need to adopt the agenda.
Yeah, and let me just double check. I got a screen all the way back up to the top. And I didn't write it down. Oh, no, I don't have to, because I'm already on there.
Okay. All right, we have Amy Cell Talent Survey results. Everybody have that results?
Is Amy on the Zoom?
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Great. How are you all?
Wonderful. It's warm out.
Good. Yes, it's good news and bad news for
Yeah.
Michiganders. So no.
All right.
I'm joined by my colleagues Bhavya Tamala and Rebecca Roberts. We did a survey to get an understanding of the competencies and experiences that are desirable for the next county administrator. We summarized this information into a rubric that identified and tried to qualify the criteria. We also put together an assessment plan and draft timeline for the process, and also put together a job posting. We are looking forward to feedback on these documents to finalize them so that we can launch the search. And a key component of the discussion will be on the compensation range. We did get a variety of feedback on compensation that is a significant variance. So that is definitely going to be one area that I would like to discuss further to make sure that we're all aligned on that. Has everyone had a chance to review the rubric and job posting?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe we could start with the rubric to see if there were any kind of changes or questions on that document.
And you basically, it looks like you just pulled this stuff from, a lot of the stuff from, there's a column, it says, is that from the survey? You pulled this information from the survey?
Yes, we tried to synthesize and kind of compile the feedback that we got from the survey into a framework that would help us target and assess the candidates.
So the only thing that I had on, and again, I don't know where oh, I guess it's still part of it. Page 5. The degree, because when we talked, and I don't know how you put this, but I know that we talked about, if you had related work experience. But when I look at this, if I looked at this, I would say maybe we're looking at someone with a degree. I put a little question mark here, but we got degree, bachelor's degree required as a related field from an accredited university, and then master's in administration.
That'd be ideal. To have a master's. The bachelor's degree is must have.
Well, that's kind of what we said before. I was talking, when we initially talked, I mentioned something about working with people that, don't necessarily have a degree, that they've been working in the finance area for over 10, 15 years.
If they did that, they should be coming from a
Are we gonna?
Have a degree in there.
Leave someone out because of that. So my question is, are we then, and again, I feel like this is our decision, but are we, in by you putting this in here, are you saying, because you did up at higher or up under criteria 1, you did says previous experience working in the governmental sector.
So regarding the degree, we can frame it however you would like. We did pull from the education requirement on the job description that was provided to us. And it sounds like there are different opinions about how to proceed. So we're very much looking for guidance on that. And we're happy to make it an ideal criteria if that is the direction from the board.
And one of the things that I think in our last conversation we talked, because you said then that also could impact the salary range too.
Exactly.
Be interested. I'm kind of curious. You got me wondering what the ranges were, because I know I've talked to a couple of them and I can just imagine.
Yeah, I think the full range was, as I recall, 65 to 150,000.
Well, good thing I didn't put that 45 down there, huh?
Yeah, there's definitely a number of people that were in the kind of 65 to $80,000 range. There were a few folks around 100,000, and there was at least one person that was thought that up to $150,000 would be appropriate.
Is
Regarding
it too late to put my name in for the application?
Really?
um,
150.
So I would say that while having a bachelor's degree as a requirement versus not will have a slight impact on the pool. I think it is going to be very difficult to find people that have the qualifications that you're looking for that are at the low end of that range, regardless of the educational requirement.
Yeah, you can't have a county minister making less than the department heads.
Well, and I understand that part. I just don't, I definitely do not agree with 100 up to 150.
Oh, I'd apply for the job too.
That's pretty exciting.
That's way
I
out.
think we'll all do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, really. I mean, we're in a deficit now and we're gonna pay somebody $150,000 out of our mind.
That's the top end.
So I'll just share my opinion on the degree. I think it should be preferred but not required. Just my opinion, speaking openly.
Again, like I said, I've worked with a bunch of people, number of people that may not necessarily have a degree, but they do a really good job with what they do. And again, I think to me, the experience part of it is crucial. I know for a fact you get someone with a brand new out of school bachelor's degree and you're going to interview them and their experience is going to be very limited as opposed to someone that may have been doing this for 15 years but doesn't have a degree.
You could put a minimum number of years of experience in lieu of the degree. So instead of a bachelor's, you must have 10 years experience or something like that.
Well, the experience is covered pretty well in other areas. So I think the question is just if there's flexibility on the degree. And so just it sounds like there is, so we can make it, bachelor's degree preferred. And that will allow us to have a larger pool.
Okay.
So we will go ahead and make that change.
What's the change now?
They're just gonna, yeah.
Changing the degree requirement. So that,
To, it preferred that they have a bachelor's,
correct.
but they don't have to have a bachelor's.
That's what preferred means.
Just prefer, okay.
I've read through this, everything looks pretty good. I don't really have too many questions on any of the other. You?
I think it's actually put together pretty well.
Mhm.
One question I do have, although you are going to help select the best candidates, would like to see all of the candidates. or at least have access to them.
Why
Is
is
that
that?
irrational?
Well, I think I mentioned that at our last meeting because I mentioned to her that previous search team, whatever you want to call them, did not provide that. He provided us with the top 5 and he had over 40 candidates that he had access to, but he would not provide any more than the 5.
So we can provide you with all of the access to all candidates. There will be a number of candidates that are clearly not qualified. Our process is to, review the resumes, and there will always be a very large number of people that do not meet the requirements in a minimum. I mean, they are rocket scientists or something that a nurse or something that is no, I mean, just not to pick on anyone in particular, any occupation in particular, but people that don't have any of the experiences that are needed. So we generally screen those folks out. Then we have a number of people that will apply that appear promising. And so for those promising candidates, we try to screen them in as much as we can. So if we think there's any way that given their background that they could be a good fit and have transferable skills, we will first send them a written survey to gather more information. And then if that also appears promising, then we do a video interview to learn more about their experiences in more depth, leadership qualities. If that looks good, then we do a phone interview and do other assessment steps. And so by the time we narrow down the candidates that we present to you, we feel very comfortable that they are qualified. And our goal is to present 7 to 10 candidates that meet the, most of the must-have experiences. Again, we're not going to screen people out that are, 70 to 80% there but we want to feel comfortable that they are going to be effective in the role. If you would like to see the full list of candidates and their resumes, we could add that as well.
I don't know if, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with that. I don't think there's a need to see all the candidates because let's just say we got 40 candidates, I'm sure you'd be able to rank them, 1 through 40 or close to that. That 40th candidate is probably never even going to come close to being someone that we want to interview. Because, although, again, I go back to the other agency that we used, I remember him specifically saying that he had someone that I can't remember the specifics, but I thought he was did some work with pool cleaning or something like that. And he made a point to say that you would have never expected that candidate. And that was one of the reasons that I wanted to see maybe those 6 through 10 candidates, because, maybe there was someone that might have jumped out. But again, yeah, I don't think we need to, if we got 40 candidates that we need to be looking at the number 40. I'd probably say, like you mentioned, maybe the top 10, because and again, I don't know how many we're going to have, but if we get 40 people, I think you can narrow it down pretty easily to the top 10, at least to show us. And then out of those top 10, you say, here's a more narrow field of candidates that might be a better selection fit.
I think the top 10 is rational, but I felt.
That's, we had the top 10 the first time and they nailed it down to the top 5.
We have 10 that apply.
I think we're close. Well, maybe not. But we got 3 more here.
Right.
People paying 150.
You bet.
So Amy, you've got the timeline for posting and closing and candidate and all that stuff in that sheet. You feel pretty comfortable with that timeline?
Yes, this is our typical timeline. To post for about, 4-ish weeks, and then to give us another week to assess candidates that come in at the deadline, because we would be announcing on the posting when the posting closes, that we
Okay.
request candidates to apply by. And so what happens oftentimes in municipal searches is that because it is so public, candidates are often in the hunt for multiple opportunities. And so we want the time frame to be as efficient as possible so we don't lose candidates, which is always a risk here. So that's why we do try to be aggressive but thorough on the time frame. And then we would also love to get some of the dates nailed down in terms of, if we provide you with access to those 10-ish candidates on March 29th, when would we be able to schedule a board meeting to review the candidates? And because many candidates generally request confidentiality until they have been determined to be moving on to the interview phase, that is an exception under the Open Meetings Act to have that review of the applicants in closed session. So getting feedback from you all on when we could have that candidate review meeting and dates that would be acceptable for the first round of interviews would be very beneficial as we continue to build out the timeframe.
When you say post the position, where will it be posted?
We would be posting on Indeed, LinkedIn, Michigan Municipal League, the International County City Managers Association, and a few other kind of government and local job boards. We
Locally
also
will it be locally as well?
locally,
Like in a local newspaper or something of that nature? Will it be on the county website?
We can post it on our
It's
website.
on the county website. It's been
On the county website already.
Wow.
Okay.
and then we also use social media, and we have a newsletter that goes out to over 1,000 municipal professionals in across the country. And that newsletter will be going out in a few days. So we are timing it to be able to promote it extensively through our outreach as well. And then we also reach out to candidates directly that have the requisite skills.
And you would take any person that we select off your list, correct?
Yes, and then we are going to make sure that of that newsletter that we send out, anybody that is selected will be removed from that list so that we do our best to stay away from them.
Will the people that you pick from your list prior be indicated?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the
So
question?
you have like so you have 3 or 4 resumes already that you have in mind? Will they be separated from new candidates?
For the candidates that have already been submitted to us, we generally put them all on the same tracking sheet and they go through the same process, but we can highlight the source if you would like.
Those were the ones that we have already received potentially?
I
Okay.
sent all 4 that I received. I sent them to her.
Oh, okay.
And so we can indicate them separately depending on how, where they end up in the process if you'd like.
Maybe, I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else or not. Guess we'll leave that up to you.
I think, I don't know the 4 that were applied, but I think that based on what you're saying that, wherever they fall in the top candidates, I'm just gonna say if we got 40 and out of the 4 that applied, maybe one of them doesn't make cut out of the top 10, well, we won't see that. Correct? And that's based on how you interview and verify their experience.
That is correct. We generally don't, people do, kind of fall out of the process as we go along, and we generally don't share.
So I will just make a comment on the thing that you said earlier, because one of the things that popped into my mind when you said that, generally you're going to steer away from people that like the rocket scientist or whatever, but in the case of our previous county administrator, the top 2 people that we ended up looking at, and actually we picked the first guy who just happened to be a lawyer, and then the second person also happened to be a lawyer. So maybe we shouldn't interview lawyers. Just saying. Oh, yeah, I don't want to, you can interview lawyers.
Thank you.
So we need a motion to move this for Amy Sell to move forward.
I don't think she can move forward without us agreeing on a compensation.
Yes,
Like that.
Get compensation yet? Okay,
yes.
This is the big surprise.
yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely
we-
need a compensation range, because it is a key factor for many job applicants, and many of the job boards require it with some of the pay transparency laws. And we want to make sure we understand what your tolerance and budget is, so that we do not come back with candidates that are outside of your comfort zone.
If someone were willing to do this for free, we would take them in a heartbeat. But I don't know if we're gonna find that, so.
I also think if you guys determine a range for compensation today, I think that has to go to full board
Yeah.
for final approval before we can post the.
Yeah. So I was just
We
gonna,
can't post it tomorrow.
what's today,
like we
Tuesday?
discussed.
No, Wednesday, so we don't have full board until Tuesday.
Can it be put into a poll vote so we can get this in motion? Or is that not
I-
acceptable?
There's probably I think they're gonna want to discuss it. I don't think
Yeah.
they're just gonna approve it.
Okay,
Yeah, because we're not gonna, unless we said the three of us all agree, we're gonna pay 70 to 80. You know what I'm saying? I think that's gonna be tough for all three of four of us here, but even when you add four more. And again, you got the person, I don't know who that was, but said 150. You know, it wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
Probably Brenda.
Brenda knows better. Probably Bill.
Yeah,
I'll apply for the job then.
so
Yeah.
I guess the question that I would have, just based on the ranges that you got, was there an average or kind of I mean, because obviously you got the one that was 150. I think that one person was probably the only person at 150. What were the bulk, I guess, the ranges for the rest of them? Just kind of curious.
Yeah, let me pull it up again so I have the specific data.
Jennifer, you sent us that copy of who all was meeting.
Of what?
Uh,
Who is doing the Google survey?
No, John and I asked for a copy of people's.
Salary?
Yeah, I got it.
Yes.
I'm looking for it and I can't find it.
Well, that was for the department heads and the elected
Yes,
officials.
yes.
Want me to resend it?
Sure. I get so many emails in here that take me forever to go through them.
that's well.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and read this out loud. So we've got a 90 to 100,000, 70 to 75, 105 to 110, 100 to 150, 60 to 70, 60 to 70, 70 to 85, somewhere around 100, 80 to 100, 90.
I know who that
So,
was.
there's, again, there's,
Not me.
I
so
know who that
there's-
was.
there's definitely a lower end cluster of 60 to 80. Then there's kind of a cluster of around 100. My recommendation is, or feedback is that there are going to be many very qualified candidates that will be in the 110 to 130 range. There will be candidates that will want over 150, but finding highly qualified candidates under 100,000 is going to be challenging. So putting together a range that might be, 85 to, 120 or 30 might give you the flexibility to take into consideration if somebody comes in very junior in their career, and has a lot of potential, but doesn't have a lot of experience or compensation expectations. You might find someone under, in around 80, but then you also will have highly qualified, experienced candidates, again, that would be at the top end of that range. And so having a range that gives you as much flexibility to consider as many types of backgrounds is always going to be my recommendation. I want to make sure that you all have as many choices as possible. But also, I want to be aware of your budget restraints and not to have a problem later because of compensation. I'd rather, know what our limits are, upfront.
So the last time we did this, it was recommended, suggested, whatever, 85 to 115. That was what we did last time. And we ended up smack dab in the middle. We hired.
I'd feel comfortable at 90 to 100, 120.
I would not.
Yeah, I would not either.
I'm a
You're gonna have to,
million points.
again,
My only concern with going at the lower end of this range is that we don't want, well, I'm not gonna say we don't want, but if we get an entry level candidate, it's gonna be a stepping stone for them, where we're gonna be in the same position in a couple of years because they're gonna find somewhere that pays more.
Well, I mean, here's my concern. We literally just at the budget meeting in November, literally didn't approve an increase for the current one. And that could be one of the reasons that she left, but I just think, again, I'm gonna have a hard time, looking at hiring $120,000 position when we got a $1.5 million deficit. That's my biggest problem. And I will even add, and I think I put this in my survey, and you can go back and double check me, but I thought I said that the compensation was, I feel like one of the reasons that we did have some turmoil within the offices. Because we have elected officials, and again, I know it's a position that they put in for, but I don't have a problem on the top end of that, but where the elected officials are, but I guess I do have a problem significantly bigger than where they are.
We have a sheriff that's way less than 100,000, puts his life on. I can't see. Look at the men in the service, they don't even. I just can't see paying somebody that much money.
Well, I mean, I don't know, we gotta come up with something. Said I'm one person, I know where I kind of lean towards,
I
but
know where I'm at too.
probably get the wrong people on this particular committee.
There's a lot of scenarios where you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think this is probably one of those. I mean, we have good truck drivers that work for me that are over 100. And 10 years ago, they would be a $65,000 a year employee with the same work ethic as they have today. I do understand that we are in a deficit, but I do think that, I agree also with what Jennifer says. We don't want to hire somebody to train them so they're gone in a few years. And, another thing to go along with a lot of when you get what you pay for, if you hire the right person, they will be, instrumental in helping us reduce that deficit. So
Well, I would argue that I don't feel that the previous county administrator would look at ways of save I felt we spent more. And a prime example is, this whole pool thing. We got a pool committee, whatever you want to call it, a pool group. And again, that was my biggest concern with that was our name, the county's name is on leading the charge, if you will, on that one. When we don't have that kind of money we're spending $75,000 on a firm to give us a pool design.
And I don't disagree with you, but, I will respond to that by saying she's not here anymore.
No, I know.
that's right.
Wasn't the right candidate. The right person is who we are looking for, and hopefully we can find them this time around. My opinion is 75 to 105 is where we'll probably end up getting somebody worth getting.
I could agree with that.
You hire somebody in though, take into consideration at 100,000. That's not it, because that person will progress and you're not going to stay at 100,000 forever. So you'll probably eventually get up to 150,000 at some point in time. So take that, if you start them out at 75, you could get up to 100,000. It depends on where your end point is.
Well, and
Because they're not just gonna stay at that entry level wage. It's always gonna grow.
to that, or a point to that, to be made on that is, first year, we gave everyone a 5% raise. So someone that's making 100,000, that's a $5,000 pay increase.
That's what I mean, is you hire somebody in at 80,000, in 2 years, they could be up to 100,000. It's always gonna be a progression. You're not, I mean, most people don't just stay at what the wage they hired in at either.
Plus they'll get benefits and that's not in the benefits. It's just, yeah.
Unless you're considering the contract that you don't ever get a wage, but good luck trying to find somebody that's gonna fill that position too, so.
No, there would definitely have to be a progression scale.
Well, and I agree. That's something that, you go hire someone at 130, 150, is that, we're never going to give them a raise? There's going to probably be a raise there too. So
Right, that's what I mean. If the higher you hire in at, you can only go up from there, so. Just,
yeah, I've never heard of going down.
yeah.
And if someone is doing a good job and working hard, they should be, rewarded. But
Right, exactly.
that's how I feel, 75 to 105, a starting salary. And, obviously I know it has to go to full board, but see what everybody else thinks.
Well, we need to at least pick a range and then have something to work from with the other four commissioners.
The highest paid person we have right now is making $82,968.
We have $94,002, one of the elected officials,
Oh, okay. Go back.
Who's that?
Cynthia. And then we have 88,000 for the
Okay.
sheriff.
Yeah, but they're
That's why.
looking for the county administrator.
So the highest paid department head at a step 5 is $81,038.
Well, at the end of the day, she made a suggestion
For
and, that's what we hired her to do. This is what she does for a living,
Who?
Amy.
Oh,
It's our second rodeo. She's been through a lot of them. We'll see what everybody else thinks, I guess.
well, so do we make a motion that we pick a range and then bring it have further discussion at the full board?
I think we need to start somewhere like that.
Yeah.
So I'll make a
Yeah,
motion. I'm sorry, go ahead, Amy.
Yeah, I agree that further discussion would be time well spent.
So I make a motion that we present to the remainder of the full board of commissioners that we start out with a salary of 75 to 105. Then we can carry on the discussion at that meeting.
I'll support that.
Obviously, we're talking about
We
money.
have a motion, we have a support, is there discussion? Okay. Take a roll call on that.
Commissioner Peterson,
No,
Commissioner Konarshewski,
Yes,
I don't think.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I cannot vote. I'm not on this committee.
can you make the motion?
Yeah, probably not.
I don't think so.
He's not on this.
Sorry.
board.
Getting carried away.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Wait, and what is the motion?
His exact motion to
What was it on?
75 to 105.
Okay. A motion on the floor for 75 to 105. Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
You can also,
Do I have a second? Motion failed.
you could do it. You can second
Yeah, you
your chair.
I'm not gonna second.
but we need something, we need something to go forward with.
Okay, I will make the motion. that We start at 85 to 95. My motion.
Well, and again, at the end of the day, it
Do we
doesn't,
have a support?
I'll support it because we just need further discussion. That's what we're.
Okay. And motion support, roll call?
Commissioner Kozlowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yeah, I'll go with that one for a while. Just-
Commissioner Fournier.
Yes. Motion passed.
Just for discussion.
Well, we need,
I mean,
Well,
I
that's
agree
what
with
it said.
Travis. It's, you get what you pay for. Yeah. If he's been in business hiring, I've been in business hiring. You don't, if you want good help, you pay for good help. You know, you
Yeah,
go look at the
help
paper all the
right
time, all these people looking for help. They
Mhm.
don't pay them the right amount of money.
Well, that
That's-
person's gonna be making more money than the chief assistant prosecutor.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, that's a,
But they're running the whole county. The prosecutors is running it as their office.
that's a pretty big,
okay, so we got a motion. It'll go to full board. We'll have further discussion and
all right,
Tuesday we should have an answer for you. Hopefully, cross our fingers.
we have something to start with. Okay,
Thanks, Amy.
she's gone.
She's out.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda. Commissioner Kozlowski.
Okay, so two of you have heard me, although you can't really, you're just here for the ride. With the, last week we talked about the employee perks. We've got some emails from people that have used it. Like I said, what I would like to do is to go back, revisit to what the motion that we reviewed, talked about, approved last week or denied last week, actually, thanks to me, about the employee perks with the membership for the Aplex and the pool. So I'll start with the pool. And again, I talked last meeting at the facilities meeting about, we literally are paying for absolutely every single thing in that pool. There's nothing, plus we're paying for the management fee. What I would like to have is to revisit, go back to what Commissioner Lalone brought up was the, fact that we are paying for everything for that pool. And I did check to that, we had 9 people. And again, I think maybe it's not the most accurate software that they're using or whatever, which is actually a discussion that I forgot to bring up at the last meeting, but I believe that because of the fact that we're paying for every single thing, and it is a small perk, based on the number of people that we have that are using the pool, I think we need to open that up to have, and it could be a win, because I was talking to someone, if I'm going to the pool, I don't like going anywhere by myself. I'm gonna drag my wife with me. And now she's got to pay for a membership. So it could be a benefit to the pool that we're getting people, spouses or whatever, that those spouses are getting. Do you know, I think it was the Aplex that they got a 50%?
For both of them,
Did they
the
do a 50% at the pool?
employee gets the free membership and the family members get half off.
Okay, so I'll make the motion, so further discussion, I'd like to make a motion that we, for the pool, that we, give the employees the membership to the pool. And based on the number of people that I'm talking, we're talking, I know of 9 people that were on that list, and out of that 9, I talked to 3 of them that literally have not used the pool recently. So in effect, by approving this, it's not really costing us either way, because we're already paying for absolutely everything for that pool as it is now. If we give a membership to the employees to use the pool, you're talking, again, if I take out the 3 people that I talked to that said they haven't used the pool since last April, could be potentially 6 people. So is that gonna break the bank for the pool? Probably not. Is it gonna help morale? Probably. Again, it's a small thing that we can do, and again, I'll be the first one to tell you, I screwed up when we were doing this motion last week because I wanted more information, and I was stuck on getting the more information instead of just saying yes, and we wouldn't be talking about this today. But like I said, I've looked into this, and you tell me if you can find something that we're not paying for at the pool. We're paying for the utilities, we're paying for You know, you name it, we're paying for it. We're paying for the management fee. When they don't have enough money, we're paying that too. So, you know, why not give the few people and maybe potentially more people an opportunity to use the pool?
Are you talking free?
Free membership to the people, the county employees.
Make that a motion.
Yes.
I'll support it.
Is that just for the pool?
What's that?
Just for the pool or the Aplex too?
Well, we'll get to that
Okay.
next.
Okay. Some motion. We have support, discussion.
Probably discussed everything before I made the motion.
Yeah.
We pretty much did.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll call.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski?
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Okay. The Aplex, again, stuck on trying to get information and I didn't like that we had the motion to, or basically the pool and the Aplex were lumped together. We got a $650 bill. Yeah, $650 bill. Yeah, it is a bill. So we have a bill for $650 from the Aplex for our county employees to use the Aplex Fitness Center. And based on conversations with Jennifer, the letters, the memos, we got a couple of memos, or letters, emails, whatever it was, from people. Again, when you take into effect or account the cost of the membership for that, for the use of the gym at the Aplex, it's, what was it, 300, you said, per member?
Yes.
If we didn't have this membership, we're paying $650, which would be two people, and I already know we got two people that are using it. Again, I think the benefit to that is by that employee being able to use the Aplex, their family can also use that at a 50% discount.
Yes.
So I would like to make the motion that we go ahead and approve that bill with the Aplex for $650.
So there were two invoices from last year.
Oh,
We
yeah, that's
discussed
right.
that, so I don't know.
Well, let's
Okay.
get this,
You stated 650, so I just wanna,
well, that's what the most recent one is.
the one that was paid was 950.
No, what was paid, what bill did we get for this year?
We didn't get one yet this year.
Oh. Okay, so I take out the amount, none, because we do have to figure out,
We haven't got a bill.
well, we did get a bill last year. Last year's bill was $650. So again, change my discussion point is potentially three people. We'd be paying for three people, but I know we have more than that are using it. So we'll deduct. I'll rescind the monetary portion of my motion to pay the, but I still would make the motion to approve the invoice for the Aplex for county employee membership.
Well, shouldn't we be knowing how much we're gonna be paying?
Well, the problem is last year we got a bill for $650, but Mary Catherine signed off that we paid $950. So,
The bill that was actually submitted and paid was $950, but I think Jennifer had a different bill that wasn't paid that was for $650. So I'm not sure what the deal.
so we need to, what do we?
I'll reach out to the Apex and find out why it went from 650 to 950.
Okay, but I'd still make the motion because again, I know from the people that I've heard that there are people
I
using
would like
it.
to know how much we're paying first. That makes more sense. To pay,
Okay, well, that's what-
they could charge $1,500 for all
We're
we
not
know.
gonna do that.
If they continue at 950 or below, could we
Yeah.
make that motion?
I can make that.
Okay.
That in 950 or below.
I'll support.
All right, we have motion, we have support. Discussion, clearing hand.
I'll add as an outsider during discussion, I think that's a great idea. You know, we're promoting health, promoting, one individual here is mentioned that he goes there with his son a couple times a week, and I saw him there last night, actually. I think it's good, and I think that if we solicit it as a benefit throughout the county via email or whatever, we'll probably have double the amount of people that we did last year. I think it's a good thing for us.
Well, I think one of the issues at least that I had was where they were lumped together and then we didn't really revisit the Aplex one. We had a discussion about the Plaza Pool. And I was stuck on that that bill for 2,500 one, want to get more information and the fact that we're literally paying for absolutely everything that goes through the plaza pool.
Okay,
So,
okay. Need a roll call.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier.
Yes. Moving on, interim county administrator Mathis.
All right, so I am just here because I'm an hourly employee, and since I've taken on the extra roles and responsibilities, my account bank is maxed out. And I was looking at the budget and we don't have anything approved for overtime. So in 2022, we had 7,000 budgeted for, and in 2023, we had 1,000, and this year there's nothing.
2000, what, 22, we had 9,000?
2022, we had 7,000, and 2023, we had 1,000.
We had only 1,000 last year?
Yes.
Oh,
We haven't done this year.
so we're going downhill. Okay, so obviously,
Things that have not been budgeted for
Yeah.
this year
I think there's actually more that I've
are coming up.
notified about,
more what?
things that were put into the budget but missed
Oh,
in the notes.
okay. So regardless, we probably need to need the line.
I have a line item number where it should have gone.
See, I'm not gonna let that one slide through.
Oh, no. I'll have a visitor.
So the overtime line number for the commissioner's office is 101-708-000.
So, well, before we get there, we need to put some money into it. What do you guys think?
Where's the money coming from?
7,000, did we use all 1,000 last year? That doesn't seem like very much.
I don't
Big.
think we used any last year.
Lot more, because like I say, Jennifer's spending more time.
So last year, I don't know how we went from 7 to 1.
I think most of the time we take comp time instead of overtime.
Yeah, that's good. I like
So,
that.
yeah, that's what we've been doing, but now that the comp bank is maxed out,
Oh, that's what you meant, your comp banks.
it's maxed out. It maxed out at 40. That's the policy.
Okay. Think 4,000 would cover us, and then we can do a budget adjustment later on if we need to.
Where's the money coming from?
Well, we're saving a tremendous amount of money not paying Mary Catherine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where's the money
Right
coming
now.
from?
Well, so we need to increase that budget line that you said,
Mhm.
and we'll take it out of, what did,
It'd have to come out of salaries, but it'd have to come out of,
well, could we transfer it, like, do we budget for county administrator? So.
I don't know
like,
do you know if you can transfer it from the county administrator position to our overtime
If
line?
we can do anything.
Is Kim online? Is Kim online?
No,
No. Cindy online? I don't want her to come.
we budgeted, I believe, county
I'm
administrator.
sure that you could just do a budget
Yeah.
adjustment from the salaries.
Yeah.
The base salary wage into overtime, if that's what you guys want to do.
Whatever what was, you have I don't have it up in board books. Do you have it, can you get on board books and,
I have what?
for what we budgeted for a county administrator?
We have to
I
have.
think it was
Yeah, we
105.
would have had her at least do.
105, so it's budgeted in there, so that's not being, it's the same thing we do with the prosecuting attorneys where they
Yep.
taking money, so we're,
Decreasing the one line,
Yeah.
increasing the other.
yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna decrease the county administrators,
Yeah, we can decrease that line because we're not paying anything.
yeah,
on that line, and we're not gonna pay someone more than that. And again, if we do, then we have to figure that out. But I
Yeah.
think temporarily gets us through.
well, you're gonna have 3 or 4 months, you're not gonna have that
Yeah,
line item,
true.
because
Yeah.
because where they haven't hired anybody, so,
She's talking maybe by April 1st.
yeah, so I mean, you're gonna have 4 months and not, no salaries are there, so.
So if you can give us those lines, did we say 4,000? Would that cover it, do you think, for now?
What do you think,
I guess it all depends on when we're gonna have this new administrator in place, but I think that would get us through May 1st. It would be my guess.
Yeah, because again,
Yeah.
said if we need to do another budget
yeah,
adjustment.
do the 4,000 out of out of the administrators line item.
Those lines, so Kim's ready to write these lines down.
Did you get the first line that I gave you? Okay, and then I don't have the county administrator's line, so I'll get that one to you.
So.
Yeah, it was $4,000.
We're moving it
Like,
first line, no,
And the salary.
into the first line,
yeah,
Right.
from the,
from
Administrator's line.
101.
101
I'm just gonna
708
make something up.
000.
001. I think that's the administrator's position. So we're talking about this, but we'll get the actual number.
Yes, I'll get that to Kim.
We have a motion and a support.
I'll make the motion,
Thought I made some, oh,
whatever.
yeah, I'll support. It doesn't matter.
Okay,
Yeah.
no more discussion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski?
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes. If Kim runs over here, I'm running out that way.
Yeah. He's coming in the front door, we're going out the back.
Yeah.
So the next we have is the Northeast Michigan Community of Mental Health Board.
Do this?
We did, but Eric Lawson's appointment is up this year, so they're just looking to reappoint him.
I
And
thought we did that though.
we didn't do Eric Lawson's. We
I
just did
thought that
the,
was in the personnel. I said, isn't that interesting? He's writing a letter to recommend himself.
But yeah, I don't think we ever voted on it.
I don't think we ever voted on it. We just, that his,
Okay,
Term
well,
is
I'll
up.
make the motion that we appoint him.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion, support. Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Rick is now back on. All right, we're going into closed session for courthouse security and litigation.
Make the motion, we go into closed session.
Put me in sport. You guys give me at least 5 minutes. Okay, motion,
Second.
support, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And next meeting is Tuesday, March 5th at 12 o'clock. Board mail conference.
Okay, thanks.
Meeting is now adjourned.